numbers from the first two sets between these teams. Neither team really hitting for a high percentage, but the 0 for Nebraska, that's just unbelievable.
Yeah, and it's just unlike Nebraska. Usually their offense is spread amongst a few hitters, and it's typically very high. Usually 3 or 4 hitters for Nebraska hit above 30%, so just kind of untypical play right now from Nebraska.
Audrey, we take a look back at your keys from earlier in this match. Overall, what have you seen?
Well, right now Nebraska's passing game is struggling. Penn State is really doing what they need to do and win the serve game. Penn State needs to believe, and I believe that they do believe. So Penn State playing with a lot of confidence right now.
Will Penn State take it in straight sets, or will Nebraska force another epic 5-set affair between these two teams? Back to Happy Valley in a moment. Big Ten Women's Volleyball is presented by Tachikara. We've got the ball, you bring the game. Snowy day in Happy Valley, a difficult day for travel around University Park, Pennsylvania. Get the most recent PSU sports news and information, plus all your apparel needs at the home of Penn State Athletics, gopsusports.com. Penn State with a big day, another victory for the Nittany Lion football team, number 409 for head coach Joe Paterno, passing Eddie Robinson for the most wins all time in Division I football. And of course, a tremendous match brewing here in Rec Hall. We saw last time they met, they went to 5 sets. Nebraska went up 2-0, looked as if they were in control on their way to a sweep, and then Penn State put together a rally. I don't think anyone would be shocked to see the Cornhuskers rally back here.
Yeah, I think with both of these teams, you can never just count them out. I think the locker room talk was probably pretty intense for Nebraska. A couple things they need to do better. It's no surprise. They have to pass a little bit more consistently. Even if they don't pass perfect balls, just put it up to the 10-foot line so Cook can work her magic.
Cook will look to the back row to Brookheist, who gets the first point and kill for Nebraska in set 3. Of course, we talk about Russ Rose, one of the winningest coaches in all of volleyball. Of course, one of the most tenured coaches in all of Penn State. Joe Paterno, 46 seasons, not counting his time as an assistant. Char Moret, a field hockey coach, and of course 33 years for Russ Rose.
Yep, and you know where he started? At Nebraska. He got his master's degree at Nebraska. He was the defensive coach in 1978.
Wrote his thesis while at Nebraska on volleyball statistics. You know that's factored into the way he's coached his team and the program over his 33 years in Happy Valley. Point goes to Penn State, and we're all tied at 1 in set number 3. Of course, John Cook used to coach in the Big Ten before he went to Nebraska. Spent from 1992 to 1998 at Wisconsin, building that program. And went to Nebraska and defeated Wisconsin in that national championship match in 2000.
Yeah, and he has just built Nebraska's program. They are just a team to be reckoned with, not only in this conference, as we know, but nationally. Just such a superb conference. Been ranked number 1 a number of times throughout the years.
Most of any program all time. Nebraska atop those charts, 82 weeks. Penn State behind them, though, at number 2 at 67 weeks. So an error against Penn State.
Yeah, you talk about, there are some good hitting errors, if you can imagine, aggressive errors, and then those errors that Deja just hit right there in the middle of the net. You just don't want to make those type of mental errors.
Hancock looking for Slay. Worth with another dig in the back row. And Cusa. Cook will look to Brookheist this time. Scott out of system. Inside, this time blocked by the Nittany Lions. That was Wilberger for Nebraska into Katie Slay.
Boy, it's not every day you see Brookheist setting a 31 to her middle. But Slay stayed put. That's exactly what you want to do. That is your hitter. The middle blocker across the net is the middle blocker's hitter. So you stay put until that ball is released. Once you know where it's going, then get to the point of attack.
Katie Slay leads the Big Ten in blocks percent, and the dangerous Hancock back serving again for Penn State, but a side out for Nebraska.
Yeah, Nebraska really needs Brookheist to come alive. She was hitting negative .053 in the first 2 sets. She's managed to get another kill here, so that's certainly going to help not only her confidence, but her team.
Talk serve for Mancuso. Stop will send it over. Cook to Brookheis. Block was there for Penn State, but still in play. Brookheis again. Past Aja McClendon for the kill.
You gotta love that when your hitter gets blocked and then she transitions quick. She gets off the court, off the net fast. And you give her the set and she puts it away. So nice play by the lefty for Nebraska.
And they keep looking to Brookheis. She's now, as you mentioned, she was hitting that negative number up to 083 with 7 kills. Hancock, tough pass there. Slay just sends it from the back corner and gets the kill.
Well, Slay, so far in this game, she's been so effective with her tips. What a nice save there by Hancock. And then Slay putting it in the corner.
Easy tip for Katie Slade, 6'6". Tough serve again from Penn State. Mancuso out of the back row, off the touch of the block. Point Nebraska.
Yeah, that's a tough one for Slay. You know, you want to stay put and you want to go up and challenge that back row attack with a block, but when it deflects off your hands and goes out of bounds, boy, that's a tough one for the back row to get. So Mancuso coming through in the back court for her team.
Stuffed it out of play, walked out of bounds by the Huskers. Point goes to Penn State. We go back to Twitter, Audrey, twitter.com/BTN Volleyball. Another question for you. And of course, on the Twitter landscape, they want to know, who is your midseason player of the year?
Well, I've got to give kudos to Lauren Cook. I think she runs that team. I think she's such a courageous setter, so unpredictable in what she does, and she's working with some really tough passes here. So she really has to elevate her game. I've seen her play spectacularly, so we'll see if Cook can kind of pull it together for her team today.
Brookheis goes to Worth, but that one's going to go out of play, touches the antenna. Of course, twitter.com/BTN Volleyball. As we talk about the Big Ten Midseason Player of the Year, as we mentioned, Audrey, you went through it. There are a couple of other candidates that could be out there. Mancuso might be another option. Of course, you look to Penn State. Ariel Scott has been playing at that level.
Right. And I've got to say, Hancock with that serve so far in this game has been unstoppable. So, you know, there are quite a few talented players in this conference, but I certainly appreciate what Lauren Cook does for her Nebraska team.
Usually see those hitters get the overall awards, but Lauren Cook, such an animated setter, get it to anyone on the floor, and one of the big reasons why they've been so successful. Mia Grant on the inside this time for Penn State. Worth with a big swing and kill.
Wow, Mancuso with a nice heads-up play. She was running to get the ball, to get the second ball. Just puts it nice and high in that left front corner, and then a big hit by Hannah Worth.
Whitney again, too strong and out of play. No touch called, point goes to Nebraska.
You know, that second left side position for Penn State has sort of been a revolving door between outside hitters. We see Whitney in there now, but we've certainly seen Maddie Martin in there and Katie Cavas. So we'll see if, you know, Whitney struggles, who Russ Rose will put in for Penn State.
Block this time, combination of Delano, and she tries to fire up her teammates as Nebraska on top by 5. Of course, Hannah Worth was involved in that block as well. Probably gets the block assist. And Hannah Worth, you see the goggles that she wears, almost iconic at this point for her and the Nebraska program. She plays at such a high level and so aggressively that sometimes the contact she would wear would pop out of her eyes with a big swing. Hannah Worth, of course, suffering from a injury when she was in 3rd grade, took a ice skate to her chin, cut her neck, and broke part of her jaw. That also did cause problems for her vision. She felt that throughout high school. Into college, they finally got her with a behavioral optometrist. They got some things sorted out, got her the rec specs, and she's been a tremendous player for the Huskers.
Yeah, and you know what I appreciate about her is her backcourt defense. She was the 2010 Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year, and she's just all over the backcourt. She's able to get those balls that deflect off the block, but then the ones that come to her very quickly. She's got great floor skills, and she's very courageous. She kind of steps in the middle of the court and will take it head on.
Of course, she came up with a double-double against Ohio State last night. She has 28 double-doubles in her career. Does it all over the floor for the Huskers. Of course, there's a lot more great volleyball coming up on the Big Ten Network. Wednesday night, conference powers square off in a primetime matchup when third-ranked Illinois travels to number 11 Purdue. Coverage starts at 8 Eastern Wednesday, presented by Pure Soap, only on BTN. We know that head coach Kevin Hambley wants an opportunity to get number one back, not only get number one overall, but also get a chance to move up those Big Ten standings. The Boilermakers earned a 5-set win over Michigan last night, so it should be another great one in the Big Ten on Wednesday night.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, that Purdue team, boy, what have they done this year? They are on fire. They're moving up the rankings. You know, many coaches said that this year the team that wins the conference championship will not be undefeated. They know that the talent is really spread out, and so it'll be interesting to see here if Nebraska remains undefeated.
Head coach John Cook, one of those coaches who mentioned that no team is going to go 20-0. The days of going 20-0 were over. Tough serve by the Huskers. They're still undefeated at this point, though, on the season, 11-0. Trailing in this match, though, 2-0, and Worth comes out of the break with the kill.
Well, that is a huge snap for Worth, ripping the ball across court. And what Nebraska has done right now, take a look at this swing for this cross-court shot. Nebraska has pulled Lauren Cook out so that the block on the right side is a little bit bigger. It's not that she's not setting well, they just need a more physical block on Nebraska's side of the net.
Lauren Cook, of course, at 5'8", not able to put up the same kind of block as some of the other Huskers. Hancock goes to Martin, puts it into the net and in the air on Penn State.
And that second left side position has not been strong for Penn State, so Martin gets inserted and makes a bad error, so now we're going to see that she gets subbed in and Whitney's coming back in. She gets subbed out, excuse me, Whitney's coming back in.
Maddie Martin has been used for her passing ability in that back row as a DS. Russ Rose has said he hasn't expected much of her swings, and when they get a couple of decent kills from her, they're usually pretty satisfied. Scott sends over a free ball. Brookheist will set it. She'll go to Worth again off the Penn State block. Now Whitney just into the game, out of play.
Yeah, you don't want to have these types of hitting errors. That didn't happen in sets 1 and 2 for Penn State. They were exploding in all areas of the court. So right now, trying to find the answer. And we see Dorton coming in. Well, she's a real vocal leader for Penn State.
Is that answer Darcy Dorton, the 2009 Big Ten Freshman of the Year and All-American honorable mention for Penn State? A big part of that run to the national championship in 2009. Has had a tough time getting back on the floor this season. Hancock in the middle to Grant. She ends the run of the Huskers.
It's just a typical one-ball attack. As a hitter, you want to be up in the air with your arm back when the setter's touching the ball, and you see she does that perfectly, catches one block in front of her, and then cuts the ball nicely.
13-6 advantage for the Huskers in set number 3.